Hey guys, Jebber Game and Jaws here. So I'm really excited today because I get to talk about a new console that I picked up. It's been a very long time since I bought a new retro vintage console. Um, I've pretty much been content with what I have as far as consoles, and I've just focused on, getting and playing more games for those consoles. Particularly when it comes to my retro stuff, I focused a lot on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis in the last couple of years. So a big part of the reason that I have avoided the original Nintendo was because I didn't have a Nintendo that did better video quality than just regular composite. The original Nintendo for me, it's a long, long history. So I didn't grow up with the Nintendo. Um, the Nintendo was released at the end of '85. I was actually born at the very beginning of '88. So it came out about just over 2 years before I was born. Um, and then once it was really hitting its stride, like '89, '90, um, basically at that point, I was still just like a kid. I was like 2 or 3 years old. So I did see a lot of people having Nintendo growing up, but um, by the time I was actually old enough to really want to play games and get into games, the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo were going, which we ended up having a Sega Genesis for my family. So the Nintendo, I really didn't play very much, and I've wanted to for a long time. It was probably 2012 when I found an original Nintendo at a yard sale, and I picked it up and I was really happy with it, and it actually played, and like I played Mario and I played Duck Hunt, um, and I didn't play much else. And then I went to my wife's house, and her dad, my father-in-law Rick, actually gave me Ashley's old Nintendo, and along with some of her games. So we played Mega Man 2 out of those games. That was awesome. Somewhere along the line, played Super Mario Brothers 3. Very good experiences, obviously. Like, you really can't um, complain about playing those games. But because I had gotten another console, I got rid of the other one. I just sold it, At the time, I wasn't a collector. I was just a gamer, and I just wanted to play these games. It seemed silly to me to have more than one console. So I got rid of the other. Sadly, when I started wanting to play Nintendo again, I realized that there was a problem, and it's that the Nintendo was not consistently working well. And everybody in the world knows about blowing into the cartridges was something huge that people did back in the day. It was such a bother to me. I just thought that it was my Nintendo. I didn't understand anything about you know, the problems with the console's actual design. So, this led to a long process of me um, trading that one in, getting another one. That one didn't work. Trade it in, get another one. Oh, okay. So I look it up and do a bunch of research, and I learned about the 72 pin connector and the fact that, like, when you put a Nintendo cartridge in and push it down, over time the pins bend, and that's the problem, is that eventually over time you're going to have a problem with that connection, and there's a whole bunch of like band-aid sort of ways to deal with that. um, I've heard so many things, from simply replacing the pin connector, which I did, and unfortunately I don't know if I bought a bad replacement pin or what, but like, I was so excited because I was like, okay, now I'm going to have a Nintendo that works. I ordered it off eBay. It came. I looked up videos. I learned how to take it apart and switch out the pins. It wasn't that hard. Um, but same exact problem. It didn't fix anything. So that was a real bummer. So then I started learning about ways that you can kind of repair the pins, and you can clean it really well. You can literally like take the pin connector out and boil it in water. You can bend the prongs back with like a screwdriver, or whatever, maybe a bobby pin. I don't even remember what you were supposed to use to bend it back. There's all of these things, but the thing is no matter what you do, eventually you're going to do this again. Some people are okay with that. I was not comfortable with that. And I think I went through about 5 or 6 original Nintendos, trying to get one that would work consistently, and it was just so frustrating, and I spent so much more money than I ever should have spent to get a Nintendo that would work. So finally, I learned about the NES top loader. The NES top loader was released when the Super Nintendo was out, and it's just a mini version of the Nintendo. But what was nice about it is that the cartridge goes straight down into it. There is no like push in and push down, so you never had to worry about pins. I was like, great, awesome. I want one of those. It's $100, way more than the normal toaster. Whatever, screw it. I'm gonna get it anyways. So I got it, and for a while I was completely thrilled. Like I was like, I don't care about anything else right now. I'm just gonna play this and enjoy it. And it was nice because I think that was actually the time that I first played through Mega Man 2, so that was really great. The biggest issue that I had with the top loader eventually, and especially because along this time I'm starting to learn more and more about retro gaming, and one of the big things is video quality. So the original toaster NES, one thing that was nice about it is that it at least had composite video. You could use RF or composite. Composite sucks ass, but it's a lot better than RF, which is just god awful, like so pathetically so bad. So, in the meantime of having my top loader, I actually ended up having it modded, so I paid someone to put in a composite mod. So I was like, oh great, awesome, I'm set. So then fast forward a couple years later, and I've just learned so much more about video quality. And so composite, for you guys who don't know, is this one. This is the only cord that's giving you a video signal. These are both sound cords, so audio. So this is not a good video connection. What you really want is RGB, or in my case, composite video. These are from HD Retrovision, and this is YPBPR component are some of the names for it, but this is what you want. I'm so thankful for the company HD Retrovision to have these things available to buy, and I hooked this up to my CRT and it looks phenomenal. I've had cords like that for my Sega Genesis and my Super Nintendo, and there are actually adapters to make them work with a whole bunch of other consoles, so that's been awesome. And so this whole time I've had my top loader NES with composite video, but I've put a lot of the games on hold because every time that I would fire it up, I was like, oh, this composite video just looks like complete shit, to be honest. And this is not how I want to experience these games. There's so many great games on the console, and I don't want to play it like that. So what I did basically is like, I kind of just put my NES away for the most part. Like every once in a while we would get it out if we really wanted to play like Super Mario Brothers 3, and we would just play it with composite video and whatever. But pretty much in the meantime, I've played a lot of modern games, obviously, so when I'm doing that, I'm not even thinking about retro stuff. And when I have been playing retro stuff, a lot of the time I've been playing either the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo, which has been awesome and phenomenal and great. And I mean, those consoles are so freaking good. But my NES was just continuing to sit there, and I just really wasn't playing that much. Another thing that really had me on the outs with the NES is that the prices had gotten so ridiculous for that console. It was really hard to buy new games for it. It wasn't very much fun trying to collect for it, and it was kind of like all of the oomph that I had to begin with kind of went out. So this has been really cool because now I'm having a rebirth with the NES. So I'm going to show you guys what I got. So I actually sold my top loader with the composite mod. I put it on eBay, sold it, got rid of it. I did that a few months ago. And finally I've bought a modded NES toaster. Now this looks like a normal NES, but there are some big changes. The first thing that I'll point out is that there's been a mod called Blinking Light Wins. Now this sticker right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it says keep calm and don't press down. And what that means is basically when you put a Nintendo cartridge in, you put it straight in. There's no need to push down. It's just a straight connection. So what's great about this Nintendo is as long as my cartridges are clean, it works every single time. I love that so much. Like, it's so nice to have a dependable console. Now the other thing that was modded, this is cool, is they gave it a multi-out. So this is actually straight from Nintendo GameCube. They actually harvested that part and put it in here, and now I'm able to use HD Retrovision component cables. Now, what was really exciting to me about this console is that I've looked at RGB modded Nintendos for a long time. Most of the time, they are modded to use SCART, which is a European connection that we never had here in the States, and there are not very many TVs that can use it. There are things that you can do. You can get like a, you can get a converter. You can kind of convert it in some ways, or you can use it on a professional video monitor. But it's a whole lot of stuff that I didn't want to do, and I prefer to game on a huge CRT, just a regular old huge consumer CRT. So what I wanted component video, because my 36-inch JVC has component inputs. So this, when I saw it, I jumped right on it. I had been looking for one with the multi-out that would use the HD Retrovision, and I think that that's just kind of fallen out of popularity. It's not the most popular mod, so I don't see that mod very often. Probably the most popular mod for people that are RGB modding Nintendo these days is just to put in an HDMI port. Most people don't have CRTs and don't care, and they just want to play it on their modern day television, which is great and fine, but that's not for me. So I was very excited when I found this. The other thing that this has is it has this switch right here, and there are actually 3 settings for different color palettes, which is really awesome. It's just really cool to have different options, and the thing is consistently working, playing amazingly. I've been playing the shit out of this for like the last week and a half since I bought it, and I'm just having such a blast finally being able to experience the Nintendo. The other nice thing, I went to a couple of game stores recently, and Nintendo games, by and large, have come down in price significantly. So it's actually been really nice that I did wait, and that I wasn't buying up a whole bunch of games, 3 years ago when they were peaking. There's still some really rare titles that are going to hold their value, but a lot of the mid-range and the lower-end games seem to have dropped in price quite a bit, to the point where it's like, man, I'm into collecting for the Nintendo again. It's been so much fun. I just played through Castlevania. Oh, so good. Freaking awesome. The game had me like pulling my hair out. It was so hard, but it was so much fun. I'm really excited to play Castlevania 3 on that soon. Got that ordered. I played through Contra. There's just so many games that I'm really, really looking forward to finally getting to play on the Nintendo, and it looks phenomenal. The RGB mod for the Nintendo just looks so awesome. When I turned it on at first, I was just my jaw just hit the floor because I could not believe how good it looked. It was the first time in my entire life that I've seen the Nintendo look so amazing. So I would highly recommend, you can do searches for RGB mods on eBay or wherever. You have to be careful. I've heard that there are modders out there who sell them they're not very good mods. This has been working great for me. I looked, he put up a bunch of in-depth pictures, which I always see as a very good sign, because they're showing off their work, which I would imagine most people who know anything about modding could look at it and be critical of it. So the fact that he was very upfront and showing a whole bunch of like the work inside the Nintendo was a good sign to me. And also he's sold a bunch of other modded consoles and has only had positive reviews. So I think his name was ghostrgb on eBay. So I'll probably put his name in the description. So if you want to check out what he's got for sale, you can. Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. This is finally, I'm playing Nintendo. I'm playing the original Nintendo. I'm playing with power. It's just freaking awesome. I'm loving the console. I have to say, like, the other thing that I've been doing is I've just been hitting YouTube really hard, like learning about the library, hidden gems videos and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just really, really excited. It's almost like I'm finally having the Nintendo for the first time, because like all the other times, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. The fact that like I kept trying, I kept putting money into it, I kept trying and, trying to fix things myself. And it was just like, it was just so defeating. to put so much effort into a console and to have it continue to, be a bitch. Also, if you don't care about video quality, if you're fine with just composite, but you still want the consistency, you can get this Blinking Light Winds mod. It's like $30, and you can just order it and do it yourself. It's not a hard mod to do, not at all. It was really nice that this came already in. I really love that, but it's not something that you shouldn't be able to do yourself. And there's lots of videos on YouTube that can show you how to do that. So definitely order that. If you have a toaster and you're sick of your Nintendo games not working all the time, then it's awesome. All right, guys. Peace. Take it easy. I probably will be doing a pickups video soon about Nintendo games specifically, because I have been picking up a few here and there. So that'll be pretty cool. Hope to see you there. Peace.